Hey, church folks. Just a couple of after worship announcements that I want to share with you today. As I mentioned during worship, next Sunday, June 7th, we are going to return to in-person worship. I am so excited. I am thrilled at the idea of being able to preach with real people in the room rather than to this little screen. So I'm excited to be back in worship with you, and I look forward to seeing you. I've missed everyone so much. With that being said, we've got a lot of details and guidelines that we need to follow in order to be back safely in in-person worship. So you're going to be receiving a letter in the mail this week that outlines all the details, gives some information and background on how we've come to the conclusion of the guidelines that we've established for returning back to in-person worship. And if you find that as you read through that you have questions or you have concerns, feel free to give me a call. Send me an email. I'll answer everything as best I can. I also know that on the Laclede County Health Department website, there is a form that is guidelines for churches reopening after COVID-19. So there's some information there along with the state website for phase 1 reopening and all of that you can look at. But just know that things are going to be different in returning next Sunday to worship in the church building. A couple of things I'll share with you now so that you'll be prepared. The number one thing that I want to make sure everyone knows is we are requiring that every person wear a face mask. So if you don't have a face mask, the church has face masks available and will be available at the church doors as you enter that you can put on before you come in for worship next Sunday morning. Speaking of entering the doors, the church doors are not going to open until 9:45. It is the one of the guidelines of the Laclede County Health Department that we cannot have Sunday school classes, small groups, or any sort of fellowship gatherings until we are in a different phase of the state's reopening guidelines. So don't arrive early at the church because we're not going to be able to open the doors until 9:45. There will be greeters who will be at the doors that will open them for you so you won't have to touch anything as you come in. Again, if you don't have a mask, they'll have those available for you there at the door. And then there will also be ushers who are going to escort you to your seat. They are going to properly social distance everyone to make sure that there's the 6 foot around each family group or an individual that comes in. So once they seat you in your pew, I ask that you stay there because we've got to keep a certain flow of people coming in and not having crossing occurring as people are going in and out or back and forth. The other thing I will share with you is we are not going to have coffee or anything like that available, and there will be limited restroom use available. The worship service will be shortened to 45 minutes as required by the health department, and we will also have the ushers escort you from the pews, excuse you from the pews when church service is over to exit the building. So those are just a couple of things I wanted you to know before you get the letter in the mail this week, so that if you needed to do anything to be prepared ahead of time, like pick up a mask or something of that nature, please feel free to do so. We are very excited to be going back to in-person worship. I can't tell you how excited we are. I want to thank everyone for worshiping online. We're going to continue that for folks who feel uncomfortable returning to a large group gathering just yet, and also for our shut-ins. We've heard from folks all over the United States that have been watching our worship services and asking that we continue to post those online after we return to in-person worship. So this is good. Our church is reaching new folks even in the midst of not being able to meet in person. What a blessing is that. So today is Pentecost Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, and it's a gorgeous day outside. So get out and enjoy the beauty of God's earth and enjoy the celebration of the Holy Spirit being a part of your life. May God bless you, and I'll see you next Sunday.